Oi friends, Rin here. Today we're going to talk about the recently new character that came out. We're talking about Barmaid. Now Barmaid is a character that came out just to give alcohol to underage survivors. I mean survivors because Mind's Eye and Coronary can't drink because they're underage. Then again, Coronary has a gun, but she can't drink, but you would think she's in the military or something, but she's really underage, so... Okay, I'm getting off track. Anyways, we're going to talk about the basic of Barmaid and clear up any confusion with her with the guide, with tips and tricks, and there's a risky way of playing her, and there's a safe way of playing her, so definitely stay tuned for that. Okay, let's talk about the basics of her first, to clear up any confusion. Like I said, she has two different types of bottles. She has Devlin and she has Dufirun, but we're going to nickname them because that's a pretty confusing name throughout the whole video. So Dufirun, we're going to call that as the orange bottle, and Devlin, we're going to call that the red bottle. So let's talk about the orange bottle first. That is the solo bottle, and things to know about it is that you only can use this at full health, and only you and yourself can use it, and you only get one bottle throughout the whole entire game, so you have to use it sparingly. But since you can only use it at full health, so what's the actual point of it? Why would you ever use it? The point of alcohol is to heal you from that injured state to not injure, right? So why would you ever use it if you're not even injured? The thing about this bottle is actually give you 50% movement speed for 2 seconds to bring that distance and time increase between you and the hunter. But the problem here is, there's a problem here with it, and I'll explain that later in the video. And so we're going to talk about the red bottle now. The red bottle is the sharing bottle. You or your teammates can use it. It'll heal you from the injured state to not injured, right? And you only can get 2 of these throughout the whole game, and you only can carry 1 at a time. That means when you mix it, you only get 1 bottle, and you can't mix again until you use that bottle. So you cannot carry 2, only 1 of them at a time. Okay, something to note is whether you're drinking the alcohol or you're mixing the alcohol, it does not matter. You are inducing tipsy and fear increase. So what this means is that you're at a disadvantage where you go from full health to an injured state. And when this happens, the hunter can hit you and you're technically fully knocked. So you do not want to be knocked in this time frame. This applies to the orange bottle and mixing. There's an 8-second time frame. Now the red bottle is to your advantage though. It actually has a 21-second time frame. But you actually only can use this when you're injured, right? So you can't go at a disadvantage on this. If you can actually last for 21 seconds, you're going back to full health, which is really amazing aspect of this bottle. So also, it actually induces tipsy for whether you are drinking the alcohol or you're mixing. You're inducing tipsy every single time for all single survivors. Tipsy is when you have a reduction in 8% decoding speed, and it stacks up twice to negative 16%. So what this actually means is it comes down to your decision making on when to mix and when to drink the alcohol. Okay, we talked about the basics of Barmaid. Now we know what she does, what her bottles are. The reason I went over the basics is because I want to clear up the confusion. I know that many people that actually will get Barmaid or has Barmaid, they're probably at first confused what the bottles actually do because they're essentially almost the same color, and the description wasn't really helpful because it didn't provide us which one is which, right? So I want to clear that up with the red and orange bottle kind of thing. Now the only thing left is the guy, like how will we play her, right? So I want to talk about her mixing first, right? So her mixing is pretty important. So the question is, when do we mix? Many of you guys will say, well, probably 99%, you're gonna be like, oh, you guys should, straight away, right, mix, because you will get that bottle, and if you get hurt, right, it's logical that you can't mix anymore, so you want to mix right away. So I mean, that is great and all, but let's think about team composition, right? So let's say you have like a Mind's Eye or mechanic. I would hold on mixing right away. Okay, I'm saying this because I know it's a risky play, but you want to do this. This is how I would approach it. I mean, I wouldn't mix it right away if I have a mechanic or Mind's Eye. Now, hunter usually go for mechanic or Mind's Eye unless someone is closer by and they can't find anyone else. But usually they will go for mechanic or Mind's Eye because we've seen Mind's Eye vaulting and mechanic pallet dropping, right? We've seen that before. Anyways, like I said, I mean, that negative 8% does matter in the long run. Now let's think about it, guys. You ever like cipher and you're like, oh, please don't get knocked. I'm almost like done. A few seconds more, just give me a few seconds. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, that every single second of ciphering does matter. Now that 8% will affect you in the long run if it comes out to be. Now, if you have like someone that's like, you don't have any like fast decoder on your team, like mechanic or Mind's Eye, like I said, then you should definitely mix right away, because chances are they do not care who they go first. They just want to get that first knocked in chair, because the faster they eliminate the player, the faster they win the game. so it really does not matter for them who do they destroy first. Okay, I really want to highly clarify something before we move on about the mixing, right? So I don't want to be blamed later on and be like, oh no, he told me to do it, play the risky way. Now I started kiting without nothing and I died. Okay, I want to clarify, if you are not the best kiter in the world and you're inexperienced at Barmaid, and that's absolutely fine. Well, that's not really fine, but I mean, as time goes by, you're gonna get better anyways. But you know, if you're inexperienced and stuff like that, and the 100 goes for you and you didn't mix yet, you're probably gonna get clapped 30 seconds in. I'm just gonna say that now because you don't have any utilities. You don't have your bottles because you can't mix. You just try to start mixing. You can mix, but you have to stand still, and you can't really stand still when you're kiting, or you're probably gonna get clapped. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely mix right away so you have those utilities, or you're basically gonna be a lucky guy kiting, and we absolutely know how that will end. Okay, let's talk about the solo bottle. Remember when I was like, you know, the solo bottle has a tiny problem with it? Well, let's address the tiny problem now. You know, the solo bottle is absolutely amazing because it can give you from one kiting area to another kiting area, right? You're like, okay, I use all the pallets here, you know, I'm done with this place. So you go to another kiting area and bolt it, right? You're buying that distance and time for your teammates, and who doesn't want that in every single game? And then, because that's absolutely great. But the problem here is, although it gives you that 50% movement speed and for that 2 seconds, you know, it also still gives you that cooldown, sadly. So let me remind you, whether you are drinking the alcohol or mixing the alcohol, it does not matter. You will still get that cooldown time frame. It just, there's a difference in the time almost. But yeah. This makes you a very vulnerable survivor in this kind of cooldown. So if you're hit in any way, you're technically fully knocked, like a terror shock equivalent, or whatever you want to call it, and that's like really bad for your team. So I want to talk about using the solo bottle early game kiting, mid game kiting, and end game kiting, right? So early game kiting, you're like, you spawn in and the 100 goes for you, let's say, right? And you're like, oh shoot, not this again, you know, freaking, why is it always me? But anyway, so if you use a solo bottle in the early game kiting, that's absolutely fine, because let's think about it. The 100 absolutely have like no utilities to get you right now. They don't have blink, they don't have their 2-tier skills or anything, and using it's fine to transition and all and move faster. You know, that's fine. They're not going to do anything about it. But it's very dangerous to do it in mid-game kiting, because after some time, let's say you're at full health still and they haven't hit you, you're doing actually really great. And then you're thinking about using the solo bottle. Now that's pretty dangerous. You actually got to be very confident and cautious when you use a solo bottle in this situation, because they probably have blink now or something, and they're probably going to clap you if you actually use it. Let's say you use it, right, and they blink and you're going to get clapped, right? And endgame kiting, it's pretty questionable for endgame kiting, because, you know, let's say you never use it and endgame kiting comes by, they pop a cipher and the hunter has detention now, right? And it doesn't matter if you use a solo bottle or not, because, you know, the hunter in one hit, they're gonna knock you anyways, so might as well use it, right? But the thing about endgame kiting is you have to be at full health to use a solo bottle at all. So let's say you're injured or something, right? You can't use it. So endgame kiting is kind of hard to pull off kind of thing, because you might not even be at full health and things like that. So it's more relevant to use it at beginning kiting, right? And I absolutely highly recommend that, to use it at the beginning if you're kiting. You can use it mid, but that's up to you. But you got to be very confident you can actually make it. If you're not, probably just take that hit and move on, you know? It would be a lot better. Okay, I don't really need to clarify this, but let's talk about it anyways, because why not, right? Because the red bottle or the sharing bottle is probably the best tool you ever use in the game. You'll find that out once you play Barmaid. It's absolutely flexible and amazing. You can use it while kiting, moving, it doesn't matter, right? It's not the same thing where you're mixing and you have to stand still, right? But it's absolutely amazing, because let's say you get hit and you use it and survive that 21-second cooldown, you're back at full health. Now you're buying a huge amount of time for your teammate, and who doesn't want that, right? And you can actually help your other teammates. Let's say they kite and they ran into you, right? You don't need to heal them or anything. You just give them that bottle and they go back to kiting, and boom, if they survive that 21 second, boom, huge part on them and huge part on your whole team, doing absolutely an amazing job, because you're wasting so much time with the hunter and finishing all those ciphers. So yeah, there's not really much to talk about. If you can be like very confident that you can survive those 21-second cooldown, there's not much to talk. It's just really great. Okay, my persona build for her would be left and right, broken windows and borrow time. Now, the reason why I chose this over, Tide Turner and borrow time is because, let's think about it. She doesn't have any buff on vaulting or palading, and, any asset would really help her. This really matters to her because her main strength is healing, right? But for her to heal effectively, she needs time to do this. The time frame is 8 seconds and 21 seconds. So any asset would help her, would tremendously help her, because within this time frame anything could happen. So she must be confident while healing for the cooldown to finish. And if this does succeed, she's buying a lot and a great amount of time for your team, which is really great, right? Okay, don't get me wrong, Tide Turn is an absolutely great persona. The thing about this for Barmaid is, when she's on Tide Turner, she cannot use her alcohol, and you can't even give alcohol to the person that you save because they're on Tide Turner now. So basically, it's really hard for her, and it gets her into really weird situations. So I just would recommend doing left and right, but you could go for Tide Turner build if you want. If you're planning to save and you think it's fine, and you think it would be fitting for you, then that's fine, go for it. But my recommendation is left and right. Okay, there's not much to talk about Barmaid saving. You just gotta keep one thing in mind, you gotta mix before you save. That's all I want to say so far. If you don't mix and you save, let's say you don't mix and you just save, right? Now, if you get hit and you save them, yeah, that's good and all, but now you can't heal yourself. You have to find someone to heal you because you didn't mix. So definitely do mix, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't mix before you save someone. Then you can just heal yourself back up on your own. You don't need anyone, so let your teammates keep on ciphering, right? And one more thing is, do not use that solo bottle when you are saving. I don't care what you think of that 50% movement speed. You are not going to be Sonic or whatever you think you are and zoom past the hunter and save them right away, right? That's putting you in a bad situation and a risky situation and your teammates. So that's like really bad. I wouldn't see why you do that. Plus, it really wastes the solo bottle. So absolutely don't do that. Just remember to mix before you save and don't use that solo bottle. And another thing is, if you don't get hit and you save them, that's actually really good because now you can body block them, give them that distant time, then you run away and heal yourself back up. So now that's a really double plus now. So try to do that if you can. Like, I highly recommend it. If you cannot get hit, that'll be terrific. Now, a final few things about Barmaid. When you're 25% injured, right, that like a fourth of the fraction of damage, you still can use the solo bottle. The solo bottle can no longer be used after 50% or more. At 25%, you still can use it. And your worst enemy to get clapped by is Photoboi. Photoboi hits you 75%. You will absolutely not do anything about it. So in a way, Barmaid doesn't exactly replace Doctor because Doctor is still relevant to like heal that 25%. But you can't do that. You can't heal from 25%, but you still can use that solo bottle. And if Photoboi hits you, you're basically screwed because, those bottles won't save you anymore. You need a doctor at this point, so get help. Okay, guys, if you guys think this guy is really helpful to you, let me know in the comment section below. If you have a friend deciding if they want Barmaid or not, share the video with them. If you guys enjoyed the video, remember to leave a like. If you guys haven't subscribed to my channel, do subscribe. And don't get hit by Photoboi or you're screwed. And I'll see you guys next time.